This meeting is now called to order. This is Melanie Williams, and I am the 2020 Chair of the Heart Operations and Safety Committee. Welcome to our January 25th, 2021 Operations and Safety Committee meeting. The meeting format is hybrid. However, we are unable to secure the quorum that is required for a hybrid meeting. Please note that since there is no quorum present, we are able only to receive the presentation and committee action item from staff, discuss them, and ask for clarifications from staff. However, we are unable to take a vote or form recommendations for the full board. All the items presented at today's meeting will be placed on the February 1st, 2021 Board of Directors agenda for consideration and action by the full Board of Directors. With that, we'll go right to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please look at your screens on your devices. An image of the flag is displayed. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. Staff, will you please do the roll call? Is that you, Danielle? Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Good morning, this is Danielle from Hart. Director Kemp?
Here.
Director Knight?
Here.
Director McLean?
Here.
Director Schisler?
Here.
Director Williams?
Here. Thank you very much. Hart General Counsel Julia Mandel will announce into the record rules for participation. Julia, I'll hand it off to you.
This is Julie. I'm having a little problem with my, hold on. Hi, this is Julie. I'm having a little problem with my audio. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, very good. You have the rules for participation in your packet. I can read them out, but I think that those are no longer necessary to be read out verbally. So in order to move us along, I'm comfortable that we can move on, unless you do want me to continue to read those out.
No, I think we can move on. If there's anyone that requires additional conversation on this subject, please advise at this time.
And just so everybody knows, I've had this conversation with staff, and we don't feel that those need to be read anymore into the record, given the fact that we've all gotten used to this process. So we will just continue to keep them part of the packet.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mandel. I'd like to draw everyone's attention to page 3 of the packet to review the Operations and Safety Committee roles and responsibilities provided for your information. I believe that's what Ms. Mandel just alluded to. We'll move on to the election of committee officers on our agenda. However, due to the lack of a physical quorum, the election of committee officers will be postponed into the next meeting that contains a physical quorum. With that, I do not believe we can approve the minutes because we do not have a quorum, so we will move this to our next meeting as well. Ms. Arthur, Ms. Pettit, are there any public comments at this time? No public comments? Okay, as a reminder, we are only able to receive the committee action items from staff, discuss it, and ask for clarifications. However, we are unable to vote or form recommendations for the board, and that is for the purposes of the next committee action item, which is to authorize the chief executive officer to purchase up to 12 non-revenue staff support vehicles from the Florida State Contract or the Florida Sheriff's Association purchasing contract in an amount not to exceed $663,484,000. Mr. Drainville, Deputy Chief of Maintenance and Facilities, you are recognized to move this action item, to discuss this action item, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members.
Good morning.
Scott Drainville, Deputy Chief of Maintenance and Facilities for Hart. So yes, staff is requesting that the Operations and Safety Committee review the action item authorizing the Chief Executive Officer to purchase up to 12 non-revenue support staff vehicles from the Florida State Contract or Florida Sheriff's Association in a not to exceed amount of $663,484. These vehicles will be replacements. replacing vehicles as old as 22 years and the newest being 8. 8 is double the FTA recommended useful life. These vehicles would consist of 6 operator relief vehicles, 1 street supervisor SUV, 2 facility route maintenance pickup trucks, 1 medium-duty service truck for streetcar, a heavy-duty service truck for fleet, and a high-efficiency vacuum street sweeper. This request is fully funded, out appropriate $1,140,519 of its FY21 capital budget for the purchase of non-revenue support staff vehicle replacement, including the high-efficiency vacuum sweeper, to be financed through ad valorem and an FTA 5339 Bus and Bus Facilities Grant. To date, $477,035.52 has been allocated from Resolution R 2019-12-55 on non-revenue vehicles that are arriving now. The $663,484 are the remaining funds for this request. And with that, I'll be happy to take any questions.
I'm not sure if you heard me. My microphone was not on at the time, so I will just repeat what I said, that the monthly safety and security update will be given to us by Mr. David Kelsey, Interim Director of Safety. Are you on the line?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Yes, I am, and I apologize. I did not hear you. Okay, good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. It's my pleasure to speak with you, and I thank you for the opportunity. Daniel, please go to the next slide.
This is Director McLean. Just for SA, I'm hearing some loud background noise. I would ask everybody shut down their mics and just let's have the primary speaker. A lot of background noise coming in.
Director, it might be mine because I'm getting a lot of static as well in my telephone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It sounds like a train's going by, David.
Or would you prefer that I try to relog in so we could continue?
I'll leave that up to Danielle.
Mr. Kelsey?
Yes, ma'am.
We are not hearing any background noise. Mr. McLean, Director McLean, are you still hearing background noise at this time?
Yeah, it just sounds like a continuous engine, but I can hear them. I'll just turn up my system loud. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This is Commissioner Kemp. I'm also hearing a very loud background noise as well. It might be people that aren't present there.
I'm sorry,
Just for the record.
Okay, so what we'll do at this time is, Mr. Kelsey, we are ahead of on schedule at this point. And so if you will sign out and sign back in, we'd appreciate that, please.
Yes, I will take care of that right away.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome.
Yes, it just disappeared, so.
Yes, so it might have been his.
Okay, I'm back. Has this cleared up?
Yes, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize for the delay.
No
Okay,
problem.
so again, good morning, everybody. It's a privilege to be able to speak to you this morning. The agenda that I have today is not only the November 2020 accidents, but we were also able to gather the statistics for the December 2020 accident analysis. We'll talk about some action items that we have, and then I'll open the floor for any questions. Next slide, please. So as you can see, the pie charts to the left depict the bus accidents that we had for both November of 2020. Go up a little bit only because service out on the street, and I did pull down an analysis from November and December of 2019 just to see where we were pre-COVID, so that you would have an idea of where we're at. And for November of 2019, as we go down the list, the fixed object accidents for November of 2019, we had a total of 8, which is in line with what we had in November of 2020. The POV strikes to heart, in other words, other vehicles hitting us, that actually was down 5 from 2019. And again, we only had enough service. We only put out more service after the middle of the month when we started to actually go back to almost full service. And if you look at December, we had 19 POV accidents where they struck hard. In December of 2019, there were actually 26. So we're quite a bit lower than that. And again, we're not quite at full service yet. We don't have quite as many vehicles as we had on the road in 2019, but that's still a significant drop from the prior year. And then as far as if we go down towards the bottom, the one that I really want to point your attention to is where Hart struck another vehicle in December of 2020. You see the number 5. We had 5 of those, and we actually had the same amount in December of 2019 as well. So I think overall, as we start to increase our service, we may see a little bit of an increase, but certainly the numbers are starting to level out, and we will continue to push forth safety training so that we continue to improve our performance in this area. All right, next slide, please. So as some of the things that we have going on with the safety and safety and security department, we still continue post-event training. Whenever something happens, we do get with the employee to meet with them about it, and then we determine if there's any corrective actions. Obviously, COVID-19 is going to be with us for a while, so we continue to encourage our customers to protect themselves and protect others around them by masking up and social distancing. We also have a requirement for our employees to continue to protect each other when they're in the workplace. We are continuing to work with the emergency management system or emergency management center with the Hillsborough County Emergency Management. Obviously, hurricane season is over. However, we do know that we get no-name storms from time to time. The continuity of operations plan, we are still updating those and working on them. And I've actually, since I've taken over this position, have been reviewing them, and I'm working with our contractor to improve them. The Joint Health and Safety Committee meeting that did occur on January 12th, and I'm in the process of reviewing those minutes, and we'll get those out. We began a new surveillance system installation on January 11th, 2021, and we're in the testing phase right now. Transportation Security Administrator First Observer Plus training. We took our transit supervisors through the training on December 18th, and we were going to train the operators during this week, but with the COVID outbreak and the social distancing that we have in place, it would have been very difficult to get them into a training room without putting people at risk. So we've put that on hold. We'll wait until this COVID situation calms down a little bit. However, in lieu of that training, we are putting out refresher memos to our employees, especially with Super Bowl week coming up. We want to make sure that they understand their responsibilities to report things under our See Something, Say Something program, and to make sure that we get that information to law enforcement and other interested parties. Next slide, please. And at this time, I'll take any questions or comments. Thank you for your time.
Councilman Schisler, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Gil Schisler. Question for you, Mr. Kelsey. Regarding the surveillance system, what does that system cover, and how is it impacting the drivers and so forth, and any feedback from them?
I am so sorry. I get rushed of train.
Danielle?
I can't.
I think it's Danielle.
Is there still noise?
Yes, I can't hear. Well, I heard you in the microphone.
And Danielle, I'll get
When
considerable background noise also.
Yeah,
Correct.
when Danielle unmuted herself, that's when we heard it.
Let me try a different mic. Is that any better? Mr. Kelsey, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Kelsey?
Councilman Schisler, let's ask if we can put the question in the chat for Mr. Kelsey. Do we have the ability to connect the chat online here? Okay, I'm looking. Okay, let's just try to ask it one more time.
Can you guys hear Councilman Schisler now?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Councilman.
Okay, Mr. Kelsey?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my question was regarding the surveillance system. What does this cover, and how is it being received, by the drivers and the patrons?
Okay, so it's basically going to mirror what we have in the system. That it encompasses 11 cameras in the transit buses, 6 cameras in the cutaway van, and 10 cameras on the streetcar system. It will cover the same areas with some enhanced covering areas that were blocked before. We will be able to see, i.e., the area directly behind the operator and between the area between the operator and the front seat. As far as the test, that's what the whole test is we put 5 buses and 13 vans in the system right now and 1 streetcar. And as we start to get the data, we will be bringing the operators in to look at and then give us some feedback, because we have a 30-day period where we're going to test the system and we can make modifications and move it. Overall, the operators appreciate the security systems that we have in place, because it certainly makes them feel a little more comfortable knowing that they're being recorded and that the customers know that they're being recorded, so it kind of improves behavior a little bit. The majority of our customers enjoy the feedback that we've gotten from customers, especially with what we call the awareness monitors that we put in the bus. They can actually see themselves on the monitor, and they know that they're being recorded, which certainly makes them feel a lot more comfortable.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Schisler. I'm not sure if we got all of the response because it was a bit choppy there. So what I would ask is that we ensure that we put the response in writing so that the committee will be able to evaluate if there are additional questions in regards to the surveillance cameras. Thank you. My apologies. Any other questions from our committee members prior to closing out the presentation from Mr. Kelsey? Okay, seeing no questions, we'll move on to old business. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time today, and we will look into our avionics to make sure